Well, former National Security Advisor John Bolton taking to Twitter to issue a warning about America's national security. He said this, quote, "It probably goes without saying," he tweeted, "that our country's commitment to our national security priorities is under attack from within. America is distracted. Our enemies are not. We need to make U.S. national security a priority." And a federal judge today delaying the sentencing of former National Security Advisor General Michael Flynn until after the release of the Justice Department Inspector General report on FISA abuse. Judge Emmett Sullivan saying next month's sentencing after both the Justice Department and Flynn's defense team announced the report will be released December 9th. The judge will determine then what the prosecutors do. Well, let's turn to KT McFarland now, who served as Deputy National Security Advisor to, among others, General Michael Flynn. And great to see you, KT. Your thoughts on...
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. It's great to see you. and also to see that there are more developments in the Michael Flynn case, which looks, by the way, as if it could well be thrown out altogether. And this delay on the Inspector General's report. Give us your insight as to what is at play there.
Well, I should point out that I've not seen Michael Flynn since the night he was fired and walked out of the White House. But he now has a new lawyer, Sidney Powell, who you have on the show frequently. She's a crackerjack, and she's made her reputation over the years in taking cases, getting them, the sentences reversed on the basis of abuse of power by the Justice Department. And I think that's what she's doing in this case. That, as I understand it, the claim is that Michael Flynn was ambushed and targeted and was not allowed access to his records, and she thinks that that's an abuse of power. And if it's anything like my experience with the Justice Department, it was.
And you had to put up with it for months on end. And I'm not going to put words in your mouth. How would you describe the experience? Fair, due process assured, what people think of in America as justice?
You know, look, we have imbued the Justice Department and the intelligence communities with an enormous amount of power. And when they use that power to go after terrorists or mass murderers, we want them to have that power.
Right, but I'm talking about your experience. I'm talking about your experience.
All right, here's what happened to me. Here's what happened to me. I was at my house in Long Island, and unannounced, FBI agents showed up at my door. I asked them, "What's this about? Do I need a lawyer?" And they said, "Well, we can't tell you not to get a lawyer, but you don't really need a lawyer. We're just going to ask you a few questions. We want to get, just to give us some background on what was going on at Trump Tower during the transition or during the administration." And I asked if I could have access to my files, which they controlled, and they said, no, we'll just give you what we think you need. Well, without access to my files...
You gotta be kidding.
Unannounced, they started asking me questions, and I didn't remember things perfectly. And the problem is that they can take your accidental misremembering and paint a picture that that's a lie, that you committed perjury.
Tell me that you've got an attorney.
You should have remembered those things.
Tell me you got an attorney.
I have one of the... Lou, I ended up getting the most crackerjack attorney in America, Robert Giffra from Sullivan and Cromwell, and he was able to repair the damage, but I had been targeted by them. I hadn't even met any Russians, but yet they were very eager to find a crime and to connect me as the missing link between Trump and Flynn and Russians. It failed miserably for them.
And to think what the president went through with the so-called special counsel. To think what you went through with the Michael Flynn experience, that Sidney Powell is revealing one act of corruption, and frankly, corruption and incompetence is a toxic combination, but that appears to be precisely what was at work in the prosecution of General Flynn. And you. I mean, it's terrible. I've got to ask you about another national security advisor, and that's John Bolton. He's sending out these cryptic messages. He says it probably goes without saying, but it then goes ahead to tweet, if not say, that our country's commitment to our national security priorities is under attack from within. I would agree that the entire country is under attack, but in my opinion, KT, it's under attack by Dems who are relentlessly going after this president and trying to stop his administration, and a Justice Department and an FBI that still require a tremendous rehabilitation if they're to ever have a public image of integrity again.
I think what people fail to realize, or maybe they don't care, is these impeachment hearings, these continuous investigations, when they're just blue smoke and mirrors, there's nothing there. If America is weak at home or divided at home, our adversaries see that and they think, this is my moment. I'm going to take advantage of America because it's dysfunctional. And that's when we see exploitation. I mean, who knows what the North Koreans might have done? Who knows what the Chinese might have done in trade negotiations? You know, Trump is tough. He's asked them to take
He's tough and he's smart as hell, and he's standing up for this country at every turn. But you know what I find interesting here about these radical Dems on Capitol Hill, Adam Schiff, Gerald Nadler, Pelosi? Why in the world isn't there an investigation of them? Because what they're doing is dividing the country. They're the ones attacking the President of the United States. They are the ones that are serving the interest of Russia and Communist China. They're the ones dividing the country and creating just a mess. If I've ever seen any reason to suspect collusion, it would be this instance in which they seem to be, the radical Dems, doing the bidding of Russia and China.
And when they have these hearings, they can't wait to rush out to the cameras and make a case and send out fundraising appeals. I mean, they're making money off the fact and raising their profiles off the fact that I think they're endangering American national security.
Absolutely.
It's very sad.
Great to see you, and thanks for getting that, attorney. KT McFarland.
Thank you. I'd be in an orange jumpsuit, Lou, if I hadn't gotten Bob Jiffer as my lawyer.
Well, we're, as you might guess, doubly pleased. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Lou Dobbs Tonight continues.